Brother Junaid is asking, how important is it to know your family lineage?
Brother Junaid, Jazakallah khair for your question. The answer is family lineage is something that's important in Islam, of course, in accordance with one's capacity. The reason why it's important is that this is it is part of one's recognition of them, is part of one's shukr to Allah and then to them, as they were the means of your being brought into this world. By extension, your parents are your most immediate source of you being born into this world, and your grandparents and great-grandparents are all part of that same chain going back. And so it's part of that shukr. B, it's also what you are known by. You're known by this, and that's important. C, and this is not in any particular order, I should point out, is that it's something that the Prophet ﷺ warned of, that one should try and associate oneself with to other than their father. So kind of say, if one doesn't know if one kind of misassociates oneself with a lineage that they do not belong to knowingly, then that would be something wrong, obviously. But then there's another point as well, which is, if one doesn't know them, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this in the Quran, one's lineage. It says, "Ud'uuhum li'aba'ihim." Call them or refer to them in line of their lineage. فَإِن لَمْ تَعْلَمُوا, if you do not know it, then they are your brothers. And so there's a recognition that everything in Islamic teachings, or by and large, is bound by your capacity to do so. So if one is unable to know and does not know exactly their family lineage, then that's quite, it's a different matter. But we're talking about when you do know it, then you should recognize it and attest to it, so long as, of course, there's not going to be some overriding harm or that's going to be inflicted on you as a result of your lineage. That's all fine and good, and you should associate yourself with it. And of course, I would end by saying that one's lineage is something which is and the preservation of that, along with the reputation, is said to be one of the 5 al-kulliyatul khams, or the 5 things which are, if you like, sacrosanct and made, if you like, sacred, or which have also been described as being the objectives, the higher goals of Islamic guidance and laws, is that the preservation of lineage in and of itself. And of course, by recognizing your lineage, for example, at the most immediate level, being, for example, one's siblings, one's also, if one's shared a mother, what they call through feeding, then of course there are consequences for marriage as well, and not being allowed to, who one is allowed to marry, who's not appropriate to marry. So for all of those reasons, it's important to try and know one's lineage, inshallah. And this has been the practice of the earliest Muslims and those who came after them, and Allah knows best.
Just to clarify, the verse that you've recited, "Ud'uuhum li'abaihim huwa aqsatu 'inda Allah," and to the end of the verse, does this mean that the lineage in Islam comes from the father?
I mean, yes, the lineage comes from the father. That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much for that.